Deadly blaze at a Hollywood apartment, killing one person and leaving dozens of others without a place to live. Caught in the act, a South Florida woman behind bars for what police accuse her of doing to animals. And new details on the search for the missing Malaysian Airlines jetliner, the key clue that might help search crews locate the fuselage. I'm Brian Andrews with the area's top stories this Saturday night. Now at 6 o'clock, flames ripped through a Hollywood apartment building, killing one man and displacing dozens of other residents. That fire is being investigated as suspicious tonight as officials try to get to the bottom of how it was started. CBS 4's Gabby Fleischman joins us live from Hollywood with our top story. Gabby? Next up, police say she killed chickens and tortured rabbits, all while engaging in sex acts on camera. It is a bizarre case involving sexual fetishes and what prosecutors are calling criminal animal torture. CBS 4's Maggie Newland has the story from the newsroom tonight. Maggie. Police say they were forced to shoot a man who approached them for no apparent reason as they were working an undercover detail in North Miami Beach Saturday morning. The officers were parked working a special undercover detail in the 1400 block of 159th Street. The subject came at them from an adjacent building. He was armed and did not show his hands when police told him to do so. That's when officers opened fire, hitting the subject twice. He's said to be in stable condition tonight at the Ryder Trauma Center. An elderly man driving the wrong side on Interstate 75 near the Florida-Georgia border has caused a deadly crash. It happened late last night when the 91-year-old driver was in the northbound lanes heading south. He struck a Greyhound bus and an SUV. The elderly driver and the driver of the SUV did not survive the crash. 13 people who were aboard the bus, which was headed to Atlanta from Orlando, were also injured in the accident. We now go to the latest on that missing jetliner lost at sea. A Chinese patrol ship may have detected what could be the faint pulse of the flight recorder beacon from the bottom of the Indian Ocean. A black box detector deployed by a Chinese patrol ship picked up the signal at around 25 degrees south latitude and 101 degrees east longitude. As of now, it has not been confirmed if this is indeed the signal from the black boxes. Almost 1 month has passed since Malaysian Flight 370 vanished under unknown circumstances. We move on to sports now. Florida fans, hang on to your seat. We're moments away from tipping off one of the biggest games in college basketball as the Final Four kicks off. CBS 4 sports anchor Ken Bokamper is here with details. Still ahead when the news continues, a major milestone marked in Afghanistan. Today, after the break, millions of people line up to cast their ballots for change. Heavy rains and dangerous winds. Coming up, we take you to the Midwest, where a violent storm left a huge mess to clean up. We turn our attention now to the crisis in Ukraine. Former Congressman Ron Paul says he is happy that his son, Senator Rand Paul, opposed recent legislation that would send financial assistance to Ukraine. While Rand Paul and his father are often aligned on many issues, the father has been more outspoken on staying out of the recent unrest there. The three-time presidential candidate argues that it could lead to a slippery financial mess for the United States. His remarks came Friday at an event in Orlando hosted by the Campaign for Liberty.
Not that I had any doubts, I'll tell you.
Rand Paul is a potential presidential candidate. In the year 2016, he walks a tightrope on foreign policy issues as he tries to broaden his base and potential donor pool, yet still appeal to die-hard Republicans. Today was Election Day in Afghanistan. Voters are electing a new president, which will trigger the first ever democratic transition of power in that country after decades of violence and instability. CBS reporter Wendy Gillette has more on the heavy turnout from New York. A volcanic eruption in Ecuador, south of Quito. The Tungurahua volcano spewed a 6-mile column of ash into the sky after an eruption that lasted about 5 minutes. Then there was a second, smaller eruption, along with several minor earthquakes. The Tungurahua volcano has been active in that part of the world since 1999. We've got our eye on the storm that's causing widespread damage across the Midwest this past week. Tornadoes touching down in several states, including Texas, where residents were cleaning up today. New video shows just how bad the storm was on Thursday. Look at that lightning they had out there. There were reports of several tornadoes touching down in Texas, along with trees that were downed and power lines that were knocked out. You can see some of the damage here in Farmersville, where even a family had to be rescued when their home was demolished. Time to check in with our CBS 4 meteorologist. Is that a cumulus cloud coming out of your pocket there?
Absolutely, you got it right.
It's cumulus, not stratus.
No, cumulus.
You should develop your own line there.
See, cumulus, it goes up where the stratus is more layered. So you're absolutely right.
Well, the weather has been absolutely gorgeous. My mom is visiting Miami from Palm Beach, and she was admiring all the gorgeous clouds from the balcony today. Safely share the roads. That's the message from the Miami Heat today at their safety cycling event. The Miami Heat's head coach, Eric Spoelstra, hosted the event to promote cooperation between cyclists, drivers, and pedestrians in South Florida. Thousands of bikers suited up for the ride up Biscayne Boulevard from downtown to Points North. The event was not a race, but rather a way to simply get out and enjoy the great weather on bicycle. Attendees received free gift bags, and some even got limited edition Miami Heat bicycle helmets. Talk about going for a run with a view. 1,500 made their way across the 7-mile bridge in the Middle Keys today for the annual run. 21-year-old Florida Atlantic University senior Josh Peterson of Boca Raton was this year's top finisher. He did the race in 39 minutes and 44 seconds. And it was a real race just to get the chance to compete. Online registration filled up in just 10 minutes when it opened back in February. As the news continues tonight, we'll have up-to-the-minute updates on the Florida-UConn game that just tipped off. And fans at Marlins Park were treated to the longest home run ever hit at the park. CBS 4's Kembo Camper is up next to tell you who hit it. It is shaping up to be a lovely evening. Get outside and enjoy it. Here's a look from our downtown Miami camera. And remember to follow our meteorologist on Twitter at John Giraldi for frequent updates throughout the night, extending up into Broward County, where the weather is also just as lovely. Get your news from CBS 4 wherever you are, in the car and on the iHeartRadio app. Check out our news partners at News Radio 610 WIOD. When you see news happening, shoot some of it with your cell phone and send us the video clip. The email is pics@cbsmiami.com. I'm Brian Andrews, at Brian Andrews on Twitter, and back at you tonight at 11 o'clock for a late edition of CBS 4 News. For all of us on the Weekend News team, we'll see you then.